Phil, want to go play? You bet. Where do you want to go play? How about we go play at the abandoned evolution factory? I don't know, Scott. My mom said I can't go there. Can't we go to Creationism Park? Boring and for kids. All the grown-ups think that Evolution Factory is better. Okay.
Well, hold on there, you kids.
Dr. Kent Hovind!
Hi, kids. Now, Scott, what did I tell you about the Evolution Factory?
That was made for people who don't know how to science as well as you, and that if you go, you'll get thorns in your britches, sir?
It's Doctor. I didn't half-ass a thesis and pay $150 for sir. But it doesn't matter. That's right. Now, why don't you take these god blinders so you don't have to see the ugly facts, I mean facade of evolution.
Thanks, Dr. Hovind. Why don't we take this money I was going to spend on the Humanist League comic? It was going to be Atheism Man and the Evolutionary versus Christian Facts Boy, and we know who will win that.
I can't take this, Phil. Remember, money given to Kent Hovind is income and has to be reported. Money given to the Christian Science Evangelism Ministries is not. On behalf of CSEM, I accept your money. Now, who wants to hear how fat Darwin's grandfather was?
Hi, I'm Alanis Garcia, also known as WasM Now F. This is first of a series where I'll be reviewing the doctoral thesis of Kent Hovind, who also goes by the name Dr. Dino. But first, I would like to give you some information about him. I'll also talk a little about myself, as I have had a history of Mr. Hovind. Kent, let's call him this, because I am sure this series, as well as other reviews of his thesis on the internet, will bear out that he does not deserve this title of doctor, and he rates it about as much as any of the writers of a site on our own deserves a degree in rocket science for their Star Trek/Star Wars crossover fanfic. He wrote this thesis in 1991 to complete the doctoral program at Patriot University. This was a small school he attended through correspondence course, and it has since discontinued the doctoral degree. This doctorate, if it may be called that, was in a philosophy in Christian education. In his introduction to the thesis, he states that he has been teaching high school and college level classes in science for 15 years. He also claims that he preaches and teaches on creationism versus evolution over 400 times a year. There have been other times where he has claimed this number reaches over 900 times a year. I suspect these numbers he counts is including the number of classes he teaches each year at school. Post-degree, Kent continued his ministry, and during the next few years is when he reached the 900 sermons a year mark, and yet he still found time to open the Dino Adventureland in Pensacola. This luxurious park has often been described as a backyard with dinosaur cutouts stapled to the wall. Unfortunately, reality such as not getting building permits closed his fine establishment down before its time. Without spoiling too much of his thesis, his creationism beliefs can be described as a young earth creationism mixed with cryptology, mixed with militia conspiracy theories. The first and second parts of his belief have drawn scorn and criticism from virtually every evolutionary biologist, normal biologist, geologist, astronomer, theoretical physicist, anatomist, and proctologist, as he has had the misfortune to be exposed to him. He also is responsible for driving a wedge between the creationism science community, which is now just starting to mend. When the people who believe the Earth is 6,000 years old are agreeing with the reptile scientists community in how bad your claims are, most people would reflect on what is being said, do some research, and either come up with evidence of the claims they're making or change, not Kent. Kent has done neither, but instead continues with the same claims that were outdated 25 years ago. But if his militia and governmental ideas has caused him the most problems, when he was convicted of not paying taxes, any of them. This issue is made worse by his insistence on telling his family to do illegal things to cover up his crimes. While in jail, on a phone, which warned him at the beginning of each call that it was being monitored. His claim of sovereign immunity also didn't work, and Ken spent about 10 years being kept in prison while he taught his fellow prisoners about dinosaurs. Since his release, Kent has moved to Alabama to start up Dino Adventureland 2.0. Please note that according to his website, he does not believe parks opened by private groups should have insurance, so any injuries are the responsibilities of his patrons, and that by attending, anyone who goes agrees that they will never bring any suits against him, and if a suit is brought, they will testify that he is not responsible for it. Oh, and if you are a felon, his parole terms mean you can't go. Now for a bit harder and less humorous info. I have a history and a bias against Mr. Hovind. From approximately the ages 9 to 16, he would come to my church once a week. Not once a week, 1 week a year, and our church would hold an all-week creationism seminar. These were one of the few times that I really enjoyed going to church. I was young and I really liked dinosaurs. And having a guy tell you that they're not extinct and gone about a million years, but were only 6,000 years old and some of them are still alive, is exciting. I believed every word he preached and even would buy books to learn more. One of these weeks, he introduced an idea that he took from Genesis, where God commanded his children to eat all the parts of the vegetables and fruits, stems, cores, seeds, peels, everything. He encouraged it as a cure for cancer. Not long after that, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and rather than use medical treatment, she bought a juicer and started praying. To this day, the sight of carrot juice can bring back memories I never want to remember. And unfortunately, memories are all I have of my mom, because the cancer spread quickly, and I had to watch her die. This isn't an attack on alternative medicine. I have plenty of friends who are vegan and are much better studied than I in the field. Some have told me that some of what he said is true, and there are certain compounds in fruit seeds that are looking promising. Maybe they are, and maybe done right, they will one day cure cancer with vitamins and smoothies. I'm not holding my breath, but who knows? But even if they do, I know the man pretending to be a doctor had no right to be on stage giving treatment advice to cancer patients. And if this thesis is an example of the amount of research Kent does, then my mother would have been better off taking tips from Cosmo on how to treat her cancer. This episode started with laughs, and what Mr. Hovind believes and the way he teaches it is worth a laugh. He's pretty funny once you start reading him, and not intentionally so. But when man's mockery of science causes people to die, the laughter must stop. I'm sorry to end this one on such a down note, but I hope that y'all will continue to watch and come back next week. I'm hoping to do one of these on Kent Hovind once a week and interspersed among them other videos. Currently, I'm working on a video about a person named Fallon, who was also the founder of an organization called Hookers for Jesus. So far, it's been an interesting read, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with y'all. Please like and subscribe. It really helps getting higher numbers. It also is a feedback to let me know what's going on. I'd love to see your comments in my channels, so I know what y'all are thinking and what I need to do differently. And I want to thank y'all for coming today. Everyone have a great day and see you again soon.